my name is Beck and welcome to my birthday book haul. My birthday is mid to early May and I ordered a whole bunch of stuff early May so that it will kind of arrive roughly around my birthday. Most of it rocked up late, but that's okay because now it's all here. So let's get into my haul. I think I'll start with all of the books that I have already unwrapped because that'll just make it a bit easier on myself. My partner Dave has read all of the Terry Pratchett books, and so he got me a whole bunch of them for my birthday because I've never read Terry Pratchett. So this was the gift from him. And these aren't all of them. Obviously there's a ton more than this, but I've now read this one, The Colour of Magic, which is the one that you're not necessarily supposed to start on because it's not the best of Terry Pratchett. And I agree, I gave it a 3 stars and it was enjoyable, but I don't like short stories. And this had 3 kind of short stories in it, but following the same characters. And so I didn't love that, but I enjoyed the writing style and the atmosphere and the world building enough to continue. So thankfully I've got all of these. I think next I'm going to go into Guards because that's one of Dave's favourites. So watch this space, I will be reading more Terry Pratchett. And then on to another one that I've read, and that is I Kissed Shara Wheeler, which is a young adult book by Casey Mcquisten, and they wrote Red, White and Royal Blue and also One Last Stop, 2 adult books that I really loved. So naturally I pre-ordered this one and it was a May release, so it timed for a release around my birthday as well. It is about a girl named Chloe Green and she is kissed by this girl Shara Wheeler, and so are 2 other boys, and then Shara Wheeler just disappears and leaves them a whole bunch of clues. So it's about them banding together to find Shara Wheeler, and they start off pretty much as enemies and become friends, and I really like that trope. So I liked this book. I'm not going to say anything more because I don't want to spoil anything, and I would encourage you to read it. But it's nice and bright and romancy, and that's just what I needed to pick up my reading. And then also some birthday gifts from the amazing Marie, who I will link below. She's one of my longtime bookish friends and we talk every day, and so she got me Royal Assassin. It is gorgeous. It's one of the anniversary editions and I've been holding off buying this for myself just because I've focused on my TBR. So when this rocked up in the mail, it was a complete and utter surprise. So I think I screamed a little bit when I opened it. And then she also got me Justice of Kings, which is one that I sent her on a wish list. So this was kind of, but almost not a surprise. And I've seen a lot of hype about this adult fantasy lately, and so I'm eager to try it out as well. I believe it's told from a character's reflective perspective. And so she's looking back at her past self in the throes of learning under this mentor, and she's looking back at all the political mistakes and things she's learned basically, and recounting them and rehashing what her new kind of goals and outlooks on life are. And I like that kind of narration style. It's worked before, I've enjoyed it before, so I think I might end up enjoying this one as well. Cross your fingers, I really hope I do. And then apparently, because I clearly don't have enough Brandon Sanderson, which is a complete and utter lie because I've got so many books of his, I got 2 hardcovers because someone was unhauling them. So I got Mistborn, which is the US cover for The Final Empire, so book 1, and then I also got Hero of Ages, also the US cover. I don't know what it is, but I like the hardcovers, but I'm not super sold on the US editions, and also a little bit on the UK editions, which are the white covers with the colours on them. I don't know what it is. Like, I like the covers. I don't actively hate them, but I just wish they were better. But whatever, now I've got 2 more and I'm not complaining. These are very, very beautiful and they look very expensive, and I got them secondhand and I'm very grateful. And now we're on to the parcels that I ordered. Thankfully, I have scissors with me this time, which a few other hauls ago I did not. I have learned from my errors. I have Check Please. I saw this on a list of recommendations. If you love Heartstopper, you're probably gonna love Check Please. And so I was like, all right, I'll give it a go. And I believe this also started as a webcomic like Heartstopper did, and it's since been traditionally published, hence having the physical paperback copy here. So I'm looking forward to starting it because it started in a similar route to Heartstopper, and it's also a sports-based graphic novel with a queer love interest in it. So because of those similarities, that's what made me reach out and pick this up. I think the art style looks very cute, and I'm looking forward to reading this maybe in a readathon, because I know there is a readathon coming up in August. So will I be able to hold off this long on reading it? Won't I? I'm not sure. I'm really mood readery lately, so it really depends on how I feel. I'll probably pick this up sooner than later though. Ooh, and that was randomly timed. I had no idea what order these parcels were in, but I just opened Solitaire by Alice Oseman. This is a story that follows Tori, and Tori is the older sister in the Heartstopper graphic novels. And I don't remember what this is actually about. I think it's just about her, and she's got a blog, and she goes to university maybe. I'm not really sure, but I like the way that Alice Oseman told Heartstopper. It felt very relatable and very grounded, and I'm assuming that is how the rest of her stories are, so that's why I'm looking forward to diving into Solitaire, because it's her first published YA novel. So hence why I bought it. It was very hard to come by because a lot of her work was sold out after Heartstopper released on Netflix, so I'm very grateful that I have this in my hands, and like, check please, I might end up reading this sooner rather than later, but I've already got my June TBR decided, so we're gonna see just what happens in June. Okay, so these are two books that I normally wouldn't order, but I did a video series in the first half of the year that was reacting to booktubers' favourite books, and I had Daniel Green, Murphy Napier, I had Elliot Brooks and Peruse Project, so Regan, and Emily Fox as well, and I also decided that I wanted to read a bunch of their favourites after reacting to their favourites video, because I thought, well, sometimes we have crossovers and sometimes we don't regarding favourites, so I would like to kind of go a little bit out of my comfort zone but within kind of reason, if that makes sense, because I've got crossover with them already, and see if my tastes match theirs. So I got A Man Called Ove, and I've heard that this is a very hard-hitting and beautiful book about a grumpy old man. So I thought, you know what, I may as well try it. This is on Murphy's Favourites of 2021, and then I also got A Thousand Splendid Suns, and I don't really know much about this one either, except that it made Emily Fox cry, and I thought, you know what, I haven't had a book that made me cry and sob in a while, and I generally avoid them because I don't like sobbing over books, but one every now and then is not too bad. I have cried from laughter from a few books, namely The Greatcoats, so if I can turn it around and have some kind of different emotion incited in me, maybe I'll try this one. But eventually these will feature in different kinds of blogs. I don't know when I'm going to read them, but it will be this year. And yet again, we're talking about Brandon Sanderson, and it's a re-release because he's re-releasing Alcatraz and the Evil Librarians, and this is one of his middle grade series. And this is a series that I really tried to find, and I haven't been able to because all of it's out of print, out of stock, and the audiobooks aren't available until like book 2 or 3. And I'm like, well, I kind of want to start a series on book 1, go figure. So when this came out, I was like, I'll give it a try. I like his middle grade, the arithmetist was great, so I thought, you know what, maybe I'll like this as well, and the fact that I want to redo my Brandon Sanderson reading guide eventually means that I probably should read more of his catalogue as it's coming out, so I thought I'll try this one as well. It says, an ancient rivalry awakens. Everything I'd known about the world was a lie, which is a great start when you're diving into a magical middle grade series. This is another one on my Booktubers React. This is one of Reagan's favourite books from 2021, Senlin Ascends, and it's about a philosopher and his wife, and they go to this palace, I think, and every floor of the palace is massive and has a different political faction, and at the beginning of the book his wife is murdered and he has to figure out by whom. And so I don't love that trope, the woman in the fridge trope, when you kill off a female character to further a male storyline, but I did enjoy 2 other books that started with that trope. If I say which, it'll spoil them, but I did enjoy them despite the trope that got the ball rolling, so I'm hoping that this falls in that category as well. I want to like this. I've eyed it off for a little while, and I keep seeing Reagan talk about it because I'm subscribed to her, so I thought, you know what, I want to see what all the hype is about. I read a lot of fantasy anyway, so may as well give it a try. And I have saved the chonkiest parcel until last. Hey. Oh my god, there are so many elastic bands. Okay. The Lost War is a book that was in Daniel Green's favourites. All I know is that it's fantasy, and it says the war is over but something is rotten in the state of Eden. Whenever I see a fantasy book, I don't like knowing too much about it. I just kind of go into it and hope I like the writing style and the world building, and that I connect to either one of the perspectives or multiple. I don't know if this is one perspective or multiple, but I'll link everything below that needs to be linked so that you can go and check stuff out, because this video is not going to be informative, it's more of an exciting unboxing video. So go and check it out if you like, and let me know if you've read it, because I don't know what to think about it at all. And then we've also got the Ember Blade, which is another one from the Booktubers React video, and that was on Murphy's favourites, and this is one of the few high fantasy or high adult fantasy books on her list, and I thought, you know what, if I'm going to try out her list, I don't read a ton of literary fiction, and a lot of it was literary fiction kind of based, like A Man Called Ove, and I was like, I'll try something because it's quite short, and that's what Ove is like. This one says, a land under occupation, a legendary sword, a young man's journey to find his destiny. Sounds pretty classical in terms of tropes, And I think I remember Murphy talking about it in the sense that it's kind of reminiscent of Lord of the Rings and that quest kind of focus with classical fantasy, but it reads and feels more contemporary, which is definitely more my wheelhouse. I don't love classical kind of feeling stories. They feel slower and more boring to me. So hopefully this has quite a fast pace given that it's so thick. And then lastly on this list, which has been described as D&D meets Animal Crossing, which is like a cozy fantasy vibe, is Legends and Lattes. And this has been doing the rounds lately and I thought I'm going to try it out. It's a short book. It's about, I think, two women who open a coffee shop in a fantasy world because one of them is sick of being an orc and being violent all the time and just wants to slow down and take a nice pace to life. So I'm looking forward to this kind of slice of life fantasy book with supernatural creatures in it. I think it's going to be lovely. I hope I give it more than a 3 stars because I've heard people raving about it and then also saying that it's just okay. So I will see how I go and report back. But that is all of the books that I've hauled lately for my birthday. Let me know if you've read any of them down below. I would love to chat to you. If you don't know what to put down in the comments, just put a yellow love heart. I would love to hear from you. But thank you again so much for watching this video. I'll come chat to you in the comments and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.